Welcome back to the program. Joining me as often is the case is Bob Latham. He's the Executive Vice President with the Associated PA Constructors. He's one of our experts we get in here to talk about particularly transportation issues. Bob, I've been driving around now. I don't think it's just me. I mean, the roads are horrendous right now, and we're losing money, as you've come on the show and talked about, and we have no game plan to fix them. So am I right or wrong about the road problem?
Well, the situation is this. We've been working on our bridges for about the last 3, 4, 5 years, and that's rightfully so. We've got a big backlog. Our geography means that we have more bridges. We've been trying to fix those, but we don't have enough assets to then keep up with the road surface quality. Right. So, we're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul on this. And the thing is, you have to keep up with both. Now, what you're experiencing, of course, now is this freeze-thaw issue.
Well, but
we're headed into pothole season, so it's going to appear worse.
But it still has to be taken care of, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to maintain your current system before you do anything else.
And that doesn't include all the sort of big structural repairs that need to be done because you got roads that were built 50 years ago, and now go ahead.
Well, this is the big issue right now. 50 years ago, Eisenhower created the interstate highway system. All these projects are now coming due. They're wearing out, and they're going to need to be repaired. It's a very expensive prospect. We had an expert commission, the Transportation Commission, identify $3.5 billion worth of needs. And we have to keep in mind it's not just PennDOT roads, but local governments are struggling to keep their 77,000 miles of roads that they maintain. And our public transit systems have capital needs as well. And I'm not talking about, taking care of union contracts. They have bridges that their facilities run over as well. So it's a multimodal system that we have to work on.
All right. Well, let's get into just a couple of the major points. As you point out, there's a $3.5 billion need that's been identified. We're scheduled to lose out of the operating budget a couple of $100 million. Is that right?
Well, right now at the federal level, the biggest problem at the national level is the uncertainty in the program. March 1st is a deadline for reauthorizing, as they call it, the highway program, and also this continuing resolution to keep the government going at the federal level. So these disruptions don't allow PennDOT or don't allow agencies to plan properly. So Congress has really been derelict in its responsibility of having a long-term funded program. And not only that, they haven't put any more money into the federal program since 1993 either. So
let's talk, so we've got everybody, and I think everybody agrees we have a problem. I mean, there's no debate about this, am I right?
That's correct. And if you did a Google search on this issue, you will not find one editorial that says, you'll not find one newspaper article that says we should not be doing this, that we should not be putting more money into roads and public transit. We're part of a huge coalition known as the Keystone Funding Coalition. We have everybody from the American Association of Retired Persons, transit agencies, bicycle advocates, because they're looking for wider shoulders and better roads to, as alternative transportation. So this is not just a highway builders issue. I
want to get to the solutions in the next segment, what we need to do. But before that, is it not true that if we don't take care of this, the roads, bridges, mass transit problem that you've identified, that the economy of this state will suffer egregiously?
Business people that locate businesses, they look at all the issues as to where to locate. Number one issue is what's the tax structure. Number two is what's the access to highways and transportation. It is the second most important thing that makes businesses locate, and that means jobs, and that means economic development.
In a state that's constantly hungry for new jobs.
If you have a deficient highway system, companies are not coming to you.
All right, we're going to run to a break. Bob, when we come back, I'm going to ask him specifically what he thinks the legislature and the governor ought to do to help resolve this problem.
This broadcast of Pennsylvania Newsmakers is presented by Highmark Blue Shield, changing the way health plans work for business with a variety of plan options for employers and more choices for employees. Information is available at highmark.com. Have a greater hand in your company's health. and by the Pennsylvania Healthcare Association, the future of long-term care.
Hi, welcome back to the program. We're talking with Bob Latham about this question of this incredible needs for roads, bridges, mass transit assistance, I think, help, aid, however you want to define it. Reconnect. What's reconnectpa.org, quickly?
Well, we've been talking about the needs here and, and problems on the road system. If your viewers go to reconnectpa.org, it's
RECONNECT
Right. They'll find an interactive map of Pennsylvania, ways that they can actually post and start conversations about problems, transportation issues in their area, and see what other people are doing as well.
All right,
it's a very easy thing to do.
Okay. Quick solutions. What's out there? How do we solve the problem?
Well, the thing about this is we've been hearing for the last several months that that private financing is the only solution. There are two bills. The Senate Transportation Committee has moved a bill. I think the House is about to move a private financing bill. That's all well and good, but that's a minor tool, I think, in the toolbox. We have the funding toolbox, as we call it. I think you're looking through for private financing. You're looking at new toll roads in certain urban areas with high traffic volume. This is good. I mean, there are projects that can't go that could possibly be done with that. But the idea that that's the panacea and that's all we have to do is fictitious. We're going to have to look at some of our traditional funding sources, such as the fuel tax, which hasn't been raised since 1993. I think that on the federal side, the only thing we can hope for there is if the feds relax the ability to toll the interstates, but that's going to be sometime off in the future. The other thing we have here in Pennsylvania is we're paying about $500 million a year out of the highway fund to fund the operations of the state police. The state police are very important, but everybody has to understand about 8 to 9 cents of your gas tax is going not into the road system, it's going to pay for the state police. So that's one option. Of course, that then would fall back on the general fund, which already has its own issue.
Then the legislature would have to fund the state police operations if they stop using.
Yeah.
Are there other ideas? Increasing license fees, and
we have very low license fees here in Pennsylvania, and you could look at that. Basically, the situation is this: we can either continue to have a deteriorating transportation system, or we can pay for one that will be better than the one we have now. It's kind of, the old analogy is, if your roof is falling apart, what do? You fix it. Is it free? No, it's not free. You have to pay for it.
Let's sort of summarize this and go through this. So options are, and good private-public partnerships, just a little part of the solution. The tolling question, long-term, good idea. This tolling Route 80, we tried that. The Fed said no?
Well, the thing is this, we have a federal energy policy that says we want more fuel-efficient cars, but that disrupts our funding source, which is based on fuel consumption.
Sure.
So we're going to have to go to some sort of mileage-based taxing system, if you will, which right now, if you drive on the Pennsylvania Turnpike from here to King of Prussia, you pay per mile. It's a mileage-based system.
We have about 30 seconds left, and even Senator Piccola, a conservative Republican, he's been on this program, has suggested maybe it's time for increase the gasoline tax. Correct?
Well, I think what that shows you is that legislators of all sides of the political spectrum understand the need.
All right, great update. Thanks for coming on. All right, we'll see you next week for another edition of Pennsylvania Newsmakers, and as always, stay well.